Hi, everybody. It is Friday, March 11th, and yeah, I'm just checking in. I was going to kind of explain some stuff that's been happening to me lately. It's, um, I call it sympathy pains. Um, I've I've had them periodically, and sometimes it's so odd because I kind of wonder what's going on with me because what it is one of the last times that was sort of it happened to me was it's kind of a strange situation where, for instance, I'll get pains. It's almost part of being empathic or yeah. It's like I can feel other people's emotions a lot of times, but I think kind of what as we're going forward now that the world is waking up to. Obviously there's bigger things going on than just politics and being controlled here. This controlled narrative that we're living under all the time. We're all waking up to uh, more of a spiritual aspect of understanding the world as well as off planet. Obviously, we're not the only beings out there. Things like that. Um, I think all of us are going to start getting uh, more abilities. But what it really is we're gaining our abilities back that we've been stifled for so many years. So in other words, we're going to think that we're having some sort of crazy experiences, but all it is we're being more in touch with each other as well as with our spiritual nature. Whatever I don't want to go on to it on with that too much, but what I was going to explain is for me when I get close to somebody or have some sort of attachment with them, sometimes I'll have there's some sort of it's like a connection. You know how twins have sort of connections with each other. They could be hundreds of miles apart, but they'll feel each other's pain or that type of thing. It's because ultimately we're all connected anyway, whether we realize it or not. And it's just that we've been dummied down, so we're waking up to that now. Anyway, I'm just gonna give you a short little story of the last time this happened to me was a few years ago, whereas I had pain in my right knee. It was probably for about 2 or 3 days. It was like just out of nowhere, and I was thinking to myself, what did I do? Was I running on it or something? I couldn't figure out where this pain was coming from. And then I went to go visit a friend of mine, and I knew he was going to have surgery on one of his legs or something. But sure enough, it was his right leg, his right knee. He had surgery on it. So I said, well, that's really coincidental because the day I felt it is when the day you went into the hospital, and my knee was just like in pain or something. It was just really weird out of nowhere. And he says, yeah, I've had about 3 days worth of pain. He says, now it's healing, it's whatever. And he showed it to me. I said, well, I didn't even know it was going to be your right leg that you were going to get surgery on. Why did my right leg hurt? So we had a laugh about it. It's like I said, well, obviously that's some sort of sympathy pain or something. Well, that's been happening to me more often, I think. So sometimes, like, I'll just feel, and that's another reason why, like, I call it, it's almost like we're all connected, like there's a disturbance in the force or something. I'll feel anxiety if the world feels anxiety or it's I mean hopefully it's not that intense all the time. That was just a kind of a weird example, but yeah, like I'll just get pains out of nowhere, my right arm or something. I was like, what did I do? Then I'll find out later on a friend of mine, you know, fell off a ladder or something. So and that's just like a connection to somebody in particular that you know. I mean, it's a good thing you don't feel like that about everybody. But so it's certain connections sometimes. It's kind of just an odd thing. Um, but as far as what I've been getting a lot lately, I've been getting a lot more downloads still. Like I said, they wake me up at 4 o'clock in the morning or first thing, or sometimes even in the middle of the night. And I'll start writing stuff down that they tell me. And for the most part, it's all, I call it either spoiler alert or bigger picture information. And I generally don't talk about it, mostly because it's too weird. And it's not, strange weird as in like crazy or something, but it's just, it, it's, I'm going to, I'll explain kind of what it's about. I think I explained before that there's information of like what's happening locally, for instance, on this planet, sort of like what's going on. You get a lot of information. Obviously, there's politics. We're being manipulated, and things like that. And then there's kind of like off planet stories going on around, and they're all everything's connected. It's just one big story going on, and then there's like a layer of a story above all that, and I call that like source, or a lot of people will call that God, whatever. I get information from that every once in a while. It's kind of crazy, and I'll just kind of sum it up as best I can. So there's a record of this, but I've got pages on it, and what it boils down to is we are part of that, part of source, part of God. You call it the force, whatever you want to call it. We're all a fractal of that, small little speck of that, and we have created these universes, and we've created these worlds, and these we've created them so they're self-sustaining. They go on and on and on. But the reason why we've created these physical matrices are for us as spiritual beings to have to incarnate into physical beings for learning stuff. It's almost like these are all the simplest way for me to put it is like schools. These are spiritual schools. It's a situation where unless you have some sort of conflict or something to overcome, you can't learn anything. So we've created these worlds for us to inhabit, these avatars to have experiences. And you can get really caught up in them because we're that good. We made them so they're so enticing, they're so real, they're so tangible that you can get caught thinking that this is all there is. But as you know, like when you leave your avatar, usually through death, everybody talks about the white light or whatever. You go back to source or whatever, that type of thing. And you can even have different layers of that. But I'm just saying, we've created these worlds, and we have also created sort of anarchy or negative scenarios for us to overcome. Earth, in particular, was hacked by these entities that we created. We created them. We call it a polarity system, which is true. It's like good and bad, dark and light, negative, positive. These are all, in a sense, created by us, whether we remember that or not. But I'm just saying, now we've come and we're incarnated into these physical avatars, and we're having these experiences. So this, in a sense, is, and that's what they keep, and it's not even really my guides telling me this. It's more like I'm remembering. It's like, because and that's one thing I've noticed for sure is I've got some sort of spiritual amnesia to why I came here, and things like that. Everybody's kind of waking up to that, and I think as we go forward, people are going to start waking up more about that. Like wow, there's something going on. This is bigger than what we think it is. That's kind of what I'm getting all the time. I'm waking up to the bigger story, is what it is. Not just about local politics and bad people and good people and whatever, and catastrophes and things like that. These are all kind of like storylines for us to experience and grow. But this one in particular, best way for me to explain it, I know I've gone on about this before, is it got kind of hacked. Not necessarily hacked, but yeah, it's like we let them accidentally or inadvertently take it over to so it's out of balance. So there's more negative than there was positive. So we've been and what it is these negative entities that we created. Well, what I mean by we is we are part of Source. We created them to be our nemesis. You know what I mean? It's like to give us challenges and stuff. But they've gone too far, and here's the problem: is they don't have any intention of going back to Source. So they stay on these lower densities, and they're trying to be immortal in this lower density. They can exist, like there's a firewall from, I think, like fourth, we call it fourth density and above. They can't get out. They'd love to do that, but they can't. So they stay in these realms. So us as beings, light, just pure light energy, souls, just just pure energy. We come into these worlds for experience, and we come into these physical matrices, and well, we get caught up in them too. We get caught up in them, and it's they're all we all come in here for so many different reasons. We come in here to learn different experiences and different lessons. Like, what would you do if this happened or something? Would you sacrifice your life for somebody? Would you run into a burning building to save someone? It's like it's easy to say that, but would you really do that if push comes to shove? So that's what we do. We create these storylines, sort of, and they're ongoing and then interactive because everybody's got free will. So it's just kind of mayhem. But we come in here and we test ourselves out. We go like, I wonder if I would do that, because it's easy to say it, but really, would you do it if that really happened? And obviously, if you knew what you're going to do or whatever, and you knew it wasn't real, it's easy to be brave. So what you do is you wipe out your mind, your memory, and you come in. It's like, now this is really happening. You don't know that this is just like a classroom or a test or something. So you come in and it's like, oh wow, this is all there is. This is my physical world. I live in here, and once I die, it's all over. Well, that's what we tell ourselves, or what they try to tell us. But anyway, so this classroom in particular that we're in, like I said, it's out of balance. It's out of whack. So there's a bunch of us that came in to help set it right again. That's kind of ultimately what's going on here. To get it back into harmony and balance. And this happens from time to time, and whatever. So we're sort of living these storylines out, and from what I understand is, because it is kind of like a classroom. And if you've noticed, for instance, Earth has got these civilizations that have come and gone, and we'll see remnants of these old buildings and structures and things like that. These are it was like the class of 2000, or the class of 200 or whatever, and then they've come and they've learned and had a lot of different experiences, and then they've left. And that's why there's no trace of these people that used to be here, whether it's Easter Island or whatever. You go, well, where's these people that were here? They've come for some physical lessons, and then they've left. And everybody leaves their toys still here on Earth and their structures that they build, and they get recycled, and they go back to be rocks and dirt again, given it enough time. So but I'm going to try to get to the point here, is this classroom, all these classes usually run around 26,000 years in this physical time. And to us up there, we might be gone like an hour, because there's no time outside of these physical worlds. It's not like linear time like is here. So these run a certain length of time, and then it's almost like class is over. It's like, okay, and then it kind of gets complicated. Like I said, I'm sort of just either remembering this before I came in, what I remember, or I'm being told by my guides. But then it kind of gets cleaned up again, and it's ready for another class of spirits, of souls to come in, and it's like do it all over again. Like learn some more lessons, try something new, something interesting. Um, that's kind of what happens. So, from what I understand, is this class is about to graduate. I'll just put it that way. Like it's coming to an end. But and that's why we're being watched from off planet, and they're in a sense what it is it's our families, our spiritual families, and our, you can call it galactic families. It's because you got to remember the beings that are out there outside of this particular physical realm in the universe, they're spirits in another type of avatar, having lessons as well. So they're still learning, but it's a larger story. It's an ongoing story, and we have connections to all of these beings because we've had these past lives. And I know this is craziness. That's why I generally try not to even bring this up, because it's just too much to think about. But anyway, they're watching us because this classroom is kind of ending, and they're trying to do this in a really soft disclosure type way, so it's not too shocking. Because you got to remember, we signed up for this. We said, okay, I want to come in here. I want to forget about everything. I want to have really interesting experiences, and then when I'm finished, I'll go back and go, wow, that was crazy. Wow, it was crazy. It was like a dream. Anyway, so they're kind of waiting for us to finish our lessons and wake up, and then that's when we make these connections. And then from what I understand is we're going to fix this world. So there's a bunch of us that are like students, and one of the next lessons is, and that's what I'm going to be involved in, is how to fix a world that got really messed up. So it's like we get to bring it back into line, because we don't want to throw these learning experiences away or whatever. So whatever we've done on Earth, we can fix it and get it back to normal, and then start kind of like more spiritual growth lessons again, like a whole new world, sort of. I know, and I know this is out there, so that's why I generally don't want to talk about it. I got pages on it. Maybe, yeah, obviously in the future or something, I'll put it into a book or something, and then you guys can take it or leave it as usual. But anyway, so this is kind of what I've been getting lately. So I've been getting bigger picture stuff. They're saying, don't worry about, don't get caught up in the fear stuff for sure, because that's our controllers still trying to control us again. There's not going to be a third world war. There's not going to be an asteroid that destroys us. There's not going to be an alien invasion, killer wasps. All this, that's what they've been doing from day one. That's what I said. You start waking up, you realize, come on, this world is not a series of disasters back to back constantly. That's just it. First of all, it's improbable. It's not even. If it was pure random, you'd have at least a couple years of peace, whereas nothing's going on. But anyway, so again, don't fall for the fear. This is coming to a conclusion of us taking down this old control system. But like I said, it's kind of a slow transition, because it's not going to be bang overnight. We've got to fix this problem while people are waking up to it. So that's kind of the situation we're in right now. Anyway, that's my 50 cents worth of information, whatever. Take it or leave it, and things are going to get better. They will, so don't worry about that. And we're at the end of this kind of story. That's kind of what I'm getting, this particular lesson. Okay, I'll talk to you later.